Let's just give this, nope, that's still too sticky.
Welcome to Baking with Frank. Frank Rush was a baker at the turn of the 20th century at the Uffelman Baking Company in Cincinnati, and then at his own bakery in Newport, Kentucky. Frank was also my great-grandfather. Through his handwritten batch-sized recipe book, I'm breaking down his recipes and getting to know him better. I'm Tom Mattingly, and this is Baking with Frank.
Welcome back to Baking with Frank. So, it is a very rainy day in Cincinnati, Ohio, but we're forging ahead. So we're we're going to go full run. I've got new glasses and I can't think with them. Anyway, we are going to try another rye bread recipe. This time, we are going with a recipe from Perfection in Baking, one of Frank's books, that was first published in 1893. This edition was published in 1902, so Frank would have been about 24 years old when he bought this, ish, assuming he bought it new. Anyway, so we're going to get started here and make sure you can see everything that's going on. Because it's a dough, we've got the mixer out, and I'm adding 25 ounces of lukewarm water, just like that, to 1/3 of an ounce of yeast. So, make sure you can see here again. All right, we're gonna give this a stir. While I add in it's actually 3.2 ounces. I'm using what's left in this 12-ounce bottle, which seems like it's about, in that range, of molasses. As we've talked about before, molasses adds color because, anyone remember? Rye flour is actually blue. So this makes it the more brown color that we're used to, but also feeds the yeast. We're going to hit it with the whisk just to kind of break things up a little bit. Now this is, much to the Frank tradition, despite the fact that Frank didn't actually write this recipe. This has no direction, well, it has limited directions, but it has no directions on how to mix it. The first direction that doesn't have a number next to it is, wait, look at me, is sufficient flour to make a dough. After that, it goes right into baking. So I'm kind of making up how this is all going together. Not surprised, I know. All right, so we have all of that in. I'm going to take the salt. So this is 1/3 of an ounce of salt, and just add that into the flour. And measure out the same amount of bread flour as we have in yeast flour, by weight, I should say, which is 6.4 ounces. Now it's going to end up being a little bit more than that, I'm sure, because the bread flour is always a higher ratio. But at least for this experiment, I'm going to tap that in there and mix that in as well. Dilute out that salt a little bit because salt kills yeast. Maybe one day we should make a blue rye bread. That'd be fun. I mean, fun for me. All right, so get this on. We got some bubbling happening. Okay, so that's the entire, 6.4 ounces of rye flour and 6.4 ounces of bread flour. I think it's going to take at least that much more, again. So we're going to measure that out. Wow. Couldn't find that better if I tried. Back our little scraper here. We've got some bread flour around the edges. Let's get everybody in the pool here. And we'll add in a little more bread flour. See where we get. So this is now 12.8 ounces of bread flour. Okay, I don't think that's enough. So a scoop is 2 ounces, all right? Y'all remember that from when I forget. A scoop is 2 ounces. Put this back down a little bit. Put that in. And we'll do it 2 ounces at a time. That's now 14.8 ounces. 16.8. So while I'm doing this, you could be hitting the like and the subscribe buttons, and Frank would appreciate it, as would my grandma. Now we're getting where we need to be. All right, so what I wanted to do is pull away from the sides of the bowl. And as you can see, hopefully, we're not quite there yet. Move this a little bit. So I'm going to do one more. That would make it 18.4, I think. Certified mom spoon. I don't know what this spoon was for. In my mind, it was for ice cream. Of course, in my mind, every spoon is for ice cream. No, we're still not there. This is 20.8 to 21. So the fun thing, wait, look at me. So the fun thing is with our friends here at Perfection in Baking, where most of Frank's books are exclusively for commercial bakers. This one specifically says that it is both for the commercial and the homeowner baker. Now the homeowner baker would have had to do a lot of math or made a lot of bread, because this recipe started out with 3 ounces of yeast, which is a lot, that much. 7 quarts of water, 3.5 pounds of rye flour. You get where I'm going here. You bake them for a big family or for the month, and since it has no preservatives, probably not for the month. All right, we're going to 22. Anywho, the point being, this one actually considered someone baking at home, which I think is kind of cool. So there's 22 going in, essentially 23. We're going to help this along a little bit, maybe, and really get in here and find out what's in the bottom and all. I think we're going to call that good. I'm going to stir it a little more, just to give it the final knead. Yeah, I like that. I'm happy with that. So, we're going to let that knead for about 6 minutes and then come back. All right, 6 minutes is up. You're going to take this off. Why aren't you watching? We're going to take this off the mixerator, just like that. Get that out of the way. And in our bowl, uh-oh, now I'm dropping things. All right, in our bowl, dab of olive oil. We're just gonna move that around. This is to keep it from sticking, if that wasn't blatantly obvious. All right, now, get that off of the hook, just like that. We're going to pull this. I should do that with the other hand because this one's got a lot of oil on it. Pull this out of the bowl. It's a little sticky. It's a lot sticky. This is very stretchy. I'm going to turn it in the bowl so that it's coated on all sides with the oil. Except for that little dab. And we're going to take some cling wrap, straight up cling wrap, and cover it. All right, so the instructions, which I've misplaced, mention something about letting this rest overnight to rise. We're clearly not going to do that. Number one, because I have a proofing oven, so why would I do that? So I'm going to put it in the proofing oven for about an hour. We're going to let it rise until it's double in size. It takes longer than an hour, it takes longer than an hour. And we'll go from there. And if that's not double, I don't know double. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to pull this off, just like that. Yep. Ooh, that was quite sticky. We're going to punch it down. We're going to put this in some loaf pans because I just frankly don't think it's going to hold up if we don't. I'm going to get some flour. Stay with. I'm going to wash the scrap off. A little bit of self-rise, or not self-rise, the glasses again. A little bit of all-purpose flour. And we're going to put that right on there, just like that. All right, that's a little easier to handle. I can live with that. So I'm going to cut that roughly in thirds because I have 3 pans. Just like that. Uh-oh. This can be tragic. A little bit of cooking spray. I'm going to take this one because it's the smallest of the 3. Not the smallest pan of the 3. Pop it right in there. We're going to do the same thing for the other 2. And then we're going to let those rise for 30 minutes. And you're going to hit the buttons. We talked about this earlier. And then we're going to come back. All right. Here we are. So, I think this is good enough. We're going to, wait, look at me. We're going to preheat the oven to 350 and then bake these for 45 minutes. See where we get. Hang in. It's still raining, but we have bread. So I ended up doing a little sprinkle on top of these 2. This one is a sandwich sprinkle from our friends at Penzies, and this one is just straight up dill. But this one, the little guy, is just the bread recipe. Let's take a look in the middle here. Ready? Oh, smells fantastic. Why am I doing that? I'd lose a finger that way. Now, a little bit of butter. Because, you know, why wouldn't we be doing butter? Give it a run. Already, this tastes the closest to the commercial bakery here in town. So if it was Frank's recipe, it in fact was Emil Braun's recipe from Perfection in Baking, which I'm still not mad at because this is pretty tasty bread.